Well, I'm sitting in the garage here tonight on this very cold winter night, November 11th, Remembrance Day, Veterans Day. I'm trying to work on the frame and try and stay warm. Of course, I can't do that because the furnace is broke. Mind you, the frame looks good, but I got some copper tubing done. Seeing as how you guys are talking about this SEMA crap mint. Anyway, don't believe me that it's snowing? Look at this. See? See all that? That's not blasting sand. I wish it was blasting sand, because I'd probably have a lot more production down here. But no, that is snow. So that means all my outdoor work has pretty much come to a grinding halt. And yeah, the poor dog is, anyway. He's cold. I don't know what happened to the furnace. I guess the fuel line gelled or something. I have no idea. So anyway, I got a bit of fuel line, or brake line I should say. Fuel line goes on this side. Brake line is over there. So, of course, with this nickel copper setup here, I have a bit of a difficulty trying to form the very sharp corners, like sharp 90s. Like from here, from factory, there was a very sharp 90 here. And of course, I can't do that with nickel copper without kinking the line. Now, the good thing about this nickel copper brake line is that it's easily bendable. You can shape it a lot easier than steel, and it's supposedly, according to my mechanic, it lasts longer than steel. They never had a problem with it. They've been using it for years. They've done steel lines. They've had it rot and rust and break. And, well, according to him, this nickel copper seems to be the way to go. So, I took his advice, and here we are with it. But, anyway. So, nothing done. Turn on some lights here for you. Nothing done welding wise to the underside of the car. I think I made an update on this a long time ago about the frame. That is all done except it needs to be painted. It's been primed. But like I say, I haven't got around to that. Mainly because it's been busy, but now that the snow has finally landed, there's really nothing here for me to do with vehicles anymore. The business is pretty well folded up. As soon as the salt hits the road, it's done. So anyway, before all that transpired, I got one of these. I don't know much about them. I don't know if they're any good. DeVille usually is a good brand from what I'm told. I picked that up at my local auto parts supplier a couple weeks ago. I don't know why the dog is laying over there. It'd be honestly more warmer over here, but anyhow. So, that's unfortunately all I got done with the vehicle, with the Cutlass project, and I don't know if I will get any more done in the next few days with this. It's only a 4-day work week for me here in regards to the school bus. Yeah, I don't know. I still have that rear axle out there. I haven't sandblasted that yet. I was supposed to do it. And, well, winter came up and screwed up my day. So that might have to wait. I'm not sure. They are calling for decent weather in next week. Not real decent. I mean, it'll be above 0, so I can sandblast, but I can't paint. I'll have to do all that painting in here. You annoying piece of shit. Listen to that. Anyhow, so yeah, no, that's all that I got done with this. The cross member's back in. I put that in a couple weeks ago. There is grade 8 bolts in it. And I also put the engine mounts back in. Some of the fasteners the heads were rounded off, so I ended up having to buy bolts for it. They're really not proper bolts for it, but I mean, they're good enough for an engine mount. It's not that big of a deal. I will have to get some replacement fasteners, as this car was pretty corroded. The underside was, well, it's not bad, but I mean, it was somebody's winter beater, right? It was obviously used in the salt. Actually, I shouldn't even say that either. I mean, it's a typical Canadian car. We're in the Rust Belt. We use road salt here and calcium and all kinds of that brine crap. Like, it's horrible. It'll rot out a vehicle. Like, I mean, new vehicles don't even last 3 or 4 years without showing signs of rust somewhere. So, kind of like Michigan. I mean, you know, anybody up in upstate New York even. I mean, geez, the road salt up there is just horrible. So anyway, the welding's done. all that has been addressed. It's just basically now all I need to really do is get the rear axle painted and back in, and do the same with the front. I did get this blast cabinet. I forgot to mention, this blast cabinet was purchased used, and I did start sandblasting. Yeah, I did start that. That was just a practice test, and I did end up blasting some old muffler hangers. See, I gotta paint them though. Like, I mean, they're starting to surface rust a little bit, but just from sitting in the garage. But I mean, they're out of the weather, so I can just wire wheel them later, or just re-blast them quick in the blast cabinet. I can also do that too. I'm not too worried about it. They're all cast anyway. I mean, they'll rust again. It's all cast. Like, even the cross member, it's pure cast. So, you know, it took a lot of material to clean it up and try and make it look good, but it still has a rough texture. You're always going to have that. And same with the frame. The frame is not smooth in a lot of areas because, I mean, it's corroded. And it was quite heavily corroded. But I mean, it's a frame too. I mean, it was never designed to look perfect. I mean, the perfection was supposed to be the car. So in any event, that's what I got done with it, and yeah, that's about it. I got no heat. It's friggin' freezing in here, man. And Don Cherry got himself into a lot of trouble. I don't know, anybody following that? Well, I finally got around to sandblasting this rear axle. Finesse this thing ever so carefully into the garage. It's supposed to rain a little bit tomorrow. It's been damp lately. We have snow on the ground now, so it's the mild temperatures. It's just damp outside. I'll get this inside before the steel starts to flash rust. It might flash rust a bit in the garage, but I have to wire wheel it still in certain areas. So I'll wire wheel the whole thing yet, but you get it in the garage here first. So, hunting and pecking away here at the frame project. The front brakes is what we're kind of working with here at the moment. Just odds and ends, like I say. So just, you know, trying to form some of this nickel copper brake tubing. I have the, this is where the brake hose actually joins together from the brake line. You can see there's a hole there. That's where the brake hose actually meets, and there's a clip that goes inside there. This is still bare steel. I haven't painted it yet, but like I say, I'm just trying to put some of the pieces of the puzzle back together, just to kind of jog my memory on where everything went, and try and, you know, form the brake lines as best I can. I'm not going to flare them or anything yet. I'm just trying to get them all laid out for the time being, and like I say, progress, small progress. The rear axle assembly is sitting over here, attached to the shop crane, and well, I sandblasted it, a large portion of it, actually pretty well all of it, except the backing plates. I never bothered with them because I'm honestly tempted on replacing them. The Rock sells them for 16 bucks a piece, so I might end up getting new ones of those. I'm gonna stand up here for a minute and just kind of, I still have to separate the control arms. The upper ones are gone, of course, they were attached to the frame. The rear ones I gotta separate. The shock absorbers are garbage, they're gonna be thrown out. They might still actually be good, but I mean, this one here is buckled. Like, I just kind of put pressure on that with my finger. Like, I'm replacing them, they're done. God knows how long they've been on the vehicle, so I gotta get some paint, I gotta get some primer on this. It is in the garage, the furnace is on. It'll flash rust, there's no doubt about it. You know, maybe not so much right now, this time of year, but I mean in the springtime, if I didn't have the heat on, it'd probably flash rust pretty good in here. But it'll be alright, I gotta wire wheel it, so once I wire wheel it, you know, it's cast iron too. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect. It's smoother than what it was, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's cast, it's rough. You know, it's never was meant to be something that was supposed to be smooth looking. It's a rear axle. Frame, you know, of course, we're getting along with this. I think I showed you guys last time the brake line was in. The body of the vehicle, I ordered some stuff for it. I got a new spot weld cutter because I'm missing mine. So what I've done is I've started to prepare to remove the door, the back door, and I'm starting to plan this out in my mind. I haven't totally removed it yet. I need a person to give me a hand taking it off, but the bolts have been loosened off. So anyway, there's a structure here. There's a brace that goes in along under here, directly right underneath here. So what I'm going to do is spot weld cut these out, and once the door is removed, I'm going to I think I'm going to cut it to about, where's the bad stuff end? I think right around here. This is where it's bad. And you can see kind of in here. Here is solid, so I think what I'll do is I'll stop spot weld cutting it right here at this seam, and I'll probably just cut right at this seam here. And then over here it's a bit bad, so I'll have to cut a little bit of this out, and even the bit of the dog leg. Thankfully, I got a little bit of the dog leg here, but in any event, you know, or I'll have to come maybe in on an angle or something, and then just kind of go like this, straight down. The dog leg is in actually good shape here. I don't think I'll try and undermine it too much, but this inner rocker is bad. And once I get the rocker out, I'll be able to brace this either with angle or something. I'll figure that out later on. The other side of the rocker is good. It just needs to be sandblasted and painted. So, but like that'll be in the spring job. I never had time to finish this. Well, farting around with the Cutlass project here today. I went out and started making some cuts to the inside of the car. I went out and cut the required section that I need for this project. I left myself a little extra. Not exactly straight, but I'll fix that later. I left myself lots of room. Actually, I'm going to have to probably shave maybe that much off. But I wanted to leave myself enough. I'm going to probably stick this whole thing in the glass cabinet and clean it up. And a bit of the dog leg here, I'm going to take that all off. Anyway, so inside here, I got quite a bit done. I just started this morning. So anyway, I cut out all the cancer except the floor pans. I cut out this. This looks rough, but it's actually bloody solid. There's two pieces of steel spot welded together with this. I thought it was part of the floor pan, but it must be like an inner floor or something. I don't know, because I've done some research and the floor pans aren't included when you order a new sheet. So I don't know what exactly you would call this, if it's like an inner floor or if it is technically part of the inner rocker, but in any event, can't seem to find them. Rock Auto sells inner rockers for this, but an inner rocker is just one straight sheet all the way across, and then you'd weld on your outer rocker and you'd bolt up your floor to this, I guess, more or less. But anyway, I cut out to all the bad stuff. I left this. This is that brace that I was referring to. It goes from here over to the inner rocker, which is absolutely non-existent. I don't know why it rotted out here. I didn't think it was a bad problem for it to rot here, but I guess maybe it was. So anyway, I'm just going to get some channel and just, you know, put a piece directly from here to here once I get this out. I also cut this out. I saved this piece because I'm going to use it as a jig. I'm going to use it as a pattern. So when I make my new piece of sheet metal, I'm just going to try and form it as best I can. My new sheet using this old panel and form it that way. Because by what I've looked at on the internet, this technically is not part of the floor. I don't know if there's another name for this part or what, but I can't seem to find it. And I looked at full new panels, full new floors, like floor pans, like front, sides, back, the whole thing. They're about $300 from the Rock, but these pieces are not in there. So I don't know if it was, I don't know. In any event, I'll have to make something. It's not that big of a deal. Didn't have to let this go. I didn't really want to get rid of that. I was hoping to save that. But it is starting to get a little soft here, so I'll have to try and clean up this. This is perfectly good steel here. I'll have to clean it up and try and mate it to that, I guess. But like I say, I got a lot of grinding work just to kind of get rid of all this. And I got to cut this rocker out yet. So I'm probably going to cut it here. Because I did, well actually I already made a grind right around here. So, you know, there's lots of good material here. Beyond here, like it looks a little rough, but it's really not too bad. It's actually part of that inner floor or whatever the hell it was. It's not really the inner rocker, it's just the inner floor or whatever. So I'll blast it and clean that up. Let's see, it's all part of this, whatever the hell it was called. So, yeah, so I sandblasted this a while ago. Of course, it flash rusted. I did make a hole here a couple years ago too, or I guess last spring whenever I cut this out of here. And I cut the floor too. I mean, there's still remnants of it, like here for example. So I got to clean up all this crap and get that all off of there. But nothing fancy. I mean, you know, it's just an old rocker panel. Clean it up and I'll set it in there. The rest of it on this side will be the least problemsome. I was actually debating today if I should lower the vehicle and do the floors or if I should do the floors now. Honestly, I'm quite confident enough crawling under this apparatus with it suspended in blocks like this. It's solid. It survived 2 years of windstorms and, you know, nonsense. It hasn't gone anywhere. So, I mean, I think I'd be all right. You know, this brace has to come out for me to get to the underside. A lot of junk in here. Bunch of crap. But anyway, the driver's side floor is pretty bad. Like, it's not worth trying to patch and patch and patch that. You're better off just to cut all of that crap out of there. Kind of like what I'm doing here, you know, so I'll end up doing that and just get a whole new sub pan front to back for this side. This side here on the passenger side really isn't too bad, so I might just you know, do some cleanup with it and then just do a patch for this. I don't even think there's, well, there is a little hole here for that, for the rear pan, but like, I mean, there's a hole. Well, there is a little bit of cancer back here too. I didn't even see that. Okay, well, I guess I really did know about that. That's right here. Oh well, that's not that big of a deal because the pan here is pretty good. So I can. What I really need to complete a job like this is a brake, and not that kind of brake. My whole life is a brake. What I really need is something to actually bend the sheet metal rather than pound the snot out of it. But I just, this is my first frame off restoration, so I mean, there's not really enough financial, there's not enough money to go out and spend thousands of dollars on stuff. Like, not right now. I would love to absolutely have the equipment, but for this car, I'm just going to basically do what I did in my 9th grade shop class. Just cutter and welder. And it'll look good enough. So, anyway, it'd be nice to get this thing to come back down this year, but I only have one more nice day of decent weather, and then it's supposed to turn pretty nasty. Like school bus cancellation nasty. So, I'll just take it by day, and, well, I'll see how it goes. I would like to get this welded in here. I would like to improve on my cuts. I didn't know it was that bad. I should have maybe marked it out with chalk, but I didn't. But anyway, so I didn't take the door off yet. I'm gonna see if a buddy can help me out with that tonight. But in any event, you kind of get the general idea. I got to clean up the dog leg. I don't know if I should really maybe cut the dog leg here and come in on an angle yet. I haven't thought about that. I might ask an auto body man for some expertise before I start cutting that. I don't really want to... This is good steel. You don't want to cut good steel. Really. Like, that's the whole thing. You just want to cut out the crap. And this is good. This is beautiful painted steel. There's not an ounce of rust anywhere near that. Except here, of course. But, I mean, that's nothing. So, I just take it by hour with that one. And, yeah. Once I get that brace in, then I can just focus on this top part. Next part will be the floors. And we'll take it from there.